The FDA will permanently allow abortion pills to be sent to patients by mail. The move comes as the Supreme Court prepares to make a decision that could overturn Roe v. Wade. The FDA stopped enforcing the in-person requirement for doctors to give out the abortion medication because of the pandemic. Only specially certified health providers can prescribe the pill. It has the ability to end a pregnancy at up to 10 weeks. The change will permanently allow patients to have telemedicine appointments to get a prescription, then have it sent by mail. For more on all of this, we want to bring in CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson. Jessica, great to see you. How is the FDA able to extend the mail order services after the pandemic ends, since it was put in place because of pandemic fears and restrictions?
Absolutely. So pro-choice activists for a long time have said it really makes no sense to have these additional restrictions on this particular medication, that we have years of safety research to indicate that there's no reason that you should have to go in person to get these pills. So this has been, frankly, a fight that's been going on for a long time, even before the pandemic. Now we have not just 20 years of safety data when it comes to prescribing this pill. That's when it was first approved by the FDA back in 2000. But now we have a year of people using it during the pandemic and not going into a doctor's office. I think that's really what the FDA looked at in making its assessment, that it makes no sense to have that extra layer of regulation to say to women, you have to actually come in person, regardless of whether or not there's a pandemic, and going in person is a risk to your health.
So if Roe v. Wade is overturned, would a pill that can terminate a pregnancy up to 10 weeks be allowed under state laws that would ban abortions?
Likely not. There are already 19 laws that in some ways, I think, limit the use of these mail-in pills, these mail service pills. And Texas has already passed a law. We're not sure how enforceable that is yet, but saying that they're going to limit the use of these pills. And I think that it's absolutely inevitable. It is simply a matter of time that states who want to restrict the use of these pills will do so. The question really is just, will they wait for that Supreme Court decision that could come out at the end of June, beginning of July, where the court is expected to either overturn or eviscerate Roe? Or will they start implementing those restrictions now? But no, it will still be the case that women will live in two very different Americas, one where there's easy access to these pills and one where there is not.
What kind of legal challenges might this face, and how much legal sway will the FDA have to fight to keep this in place?
So this has already been the subject of challenge. Actually, this went all the way up to the Supreme Court during the Trump administration. And the restriction was actually kept in place by the Supreme Court during the Trump administration, saying you have to go in person. And President Biden obviously assumed office. The restriction was temporarily peeled back. So how much legal sway do they have? The FDA has a lot of discretion. They have a lot of years of safety regulation data, and they have already dealt with a challenge. Will there be additional challenges? There could be. But I don't think at this point that when you look at the discretion that this executive agency is using, those would be successful challenges.
So let's say a state bans telemedicine visits and mailing the abortion medication. Can patients use out-of-state doctors to get the medicine?
If they go out of state. So we have a whole host of problems if patients try and call a doctor out of state, have that doctor prescribe it to them in the state where the pills are banned, and then have them mail those pills into the state where they're banned. So what you could see, I think, is a lot of women, if they have the resources, driving to other states, essentially having a very quick telemedicine appointment, and then asking if they have any relatives, friends, if they have a PO box to have the pills sent there, then using the pills driving back home.
If this survives any and all legal challenges, won't the FDA be able to just reverse course on it the next time a conservative president is in office and appoint a new FDA director?
So I think yes and no. Obviously, we've seen in so many examples that the new administrations have an enormous amount of power, particularly when it comes to executive agencies and their direction. Having said that, if this were repealed and if the next FDA said, actually you need to go in person, there would immediately be a challenge, like there was already one here spearheaded by the ACLU, saying, for what reason? What is your rational, valid reason for saying, after, again, 2 decades of this data, that now you have to have women go in person? So could the FDA roll this back? Yes. But at that point, I think that flip flop in their decision would be subject to strenuous legal objection.
Jessica Levinson, thank you so much for breaking all this down.
Thank you.